The dark corridors of the abandoned space station echoed with soft, metallic sounds. Every step the human made seemed louder than it really was. His name was Marcus, a skilled operative known for his precision and courage. Today, he carried 8 blades, each one carefully balanced and sharpened, strapped across his back. His mission was simple in words but deadly in reality: retrieve an alien child who had been taken by a rogue alien faction. Marcus moved carefully, his eyes scanning every corner. The air smelled faintly of burning circuits and old machinery. Shadows danced on the walls as the station's flickering lights struggled to stay alive. He had learned to trust nothing in these places. Not a shadow, not a sound, not even his own instincts. Yet deep down, he knew this mission would change everything. The child he was sent to retrieve was no ordinary being. Rumors said it possessed an intelligence far beyond most species. Some even whispered that the child had abilities that could alter the balance of power across the galaxy. Marcus didn't care about politics. He only cared about survival and completing the mission. But even he could not deny the weight of what he was about to do. As he approached the central holding room, his footsteps slowed. The metallic door ahead was reinforced, glowing faintly with alien symbols that seemed to shift as he looked at them. Marcus crouched behind a console, his hand resting on the hilt of one of his blades. The air felt thick, almost as if the station itself was alive, waiting. Suddenly, a soft hiss echoed through the corridor. Marcus froze. He had heard that sound before. It was a patrol of a Guardian drone, a small but lethal machine programmed to detect intruders. Slowly, he reached for a nearby panel and tapped a sequence he had memorized. A hidden vent opened, just wide enough for him to slip through. He crawled silently, feeling the metal scrape against his palms. Every second felt stretched into eternity. As he emerged on the other side, the sound of the child's faint cries reached him. Marcus paused. The child's voice was soft, almost like a whisper carried through the station, but it tugged at something deep inside him. He realized then that this mission was not just another operation. It was a test of his instincts, his courage, and perhaps his humanity. Marcus crept along the corridor, each step measured and precise. He kept checking over his shoulder, expecting an ambush at any moment. The rogue aliens were known for their brutality. They were warriors who valued strength above all else, and mercy was a concept they did not understand. But Marcus had trained for this. He had survived countless missions, each one more dangerous than the last. Yet, this felt different. Reaching the door to the holding room, Marcus examined the alien lock. Its symbols rotated and changed, a puzzle designed to keep even the smartest intruders out. He muttered under his breath, fingers moving swiftly across the panel, tracing patterns he had studied from stolen intelligence files. Sparks flew as the lock resisted, testing his patience. The child's cries grew louder, urging him to act faster. Then a sudden click. The lock disengaged, and the door slid open with a hiss. Marcus entered carefully, his blades ready. The room was dimly lit, shadows stretching across the walls. At the center, the child stood inside a transparent cage, looking at him with wide, intelligent eyes. Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. There was something about the child, a calmness, a wisdom, that made him hesitate. Before he could react, the room shook violently. Aliens poured in from hidden doors, their movements coordinated, precise, and terrifying. Marcus had expected a fight, but not like this. These were not simple guards. They were elite warriors, their armor gleaming with energy, their eyes cold and calculating. Marcus adjusted his grip on his blades, knowing this battle would require more than just skill. It would require cunning. He moved with lightning speed, dodging the first attack. A blade swung at him from above, narrowly missing his head. Marcus countered, striking with precision and forcing the alien to stumble. The room became a blur of motion, steel clashing, sparks flying, and a hum of energy weapons slicing through the air. Marcus knew he had to reach the child, but every step forward was met with deadly resistance. The child watched silently, seemingly unfazed by the chaos. Marcus noticed that each time an alien came close, the child made subtle movements, almost as if guiding him, warning him of danger. It was strange, unnerving, but it worked. Using the child's cues, Marcus navigated the battlefield with skill, his 8 blades moving as extensions of his own body. Just when he thought he had a clear path to the cage, a massive alien warrior stepped forward. Its size was unlike anything Marcus had faced before, muscles bulging beneath thick armor. Its weapon crackled with energy capable of cutting through steel. The air seemed to vibrate as it advanced, each step shaking the floor beneath them. Marcus knew that one strike from this creature could end his life instantly. He backed away, circling the room, looking for an opening. The other aliens paused, forming a protective circle around their commander. Marcus realized then that brute force alone would not win this fight. He needed strategy, patience, and a little luck. The child's eyes met his, and he felt a surge of determination. He would not fail. Not now, not when so much was at stake. Suddenly, the massive warrior lunged. Marcus rolled aside, his blade slicing through the air where the alien had been. Sparks erupted as it struck the floor, and the sound echoed through the room. Marcus countered with a swift kick, aiming for the creature's joint armor. It was a small victory, but enough to buy him a moment. The alien roared, a sound that vibrated through Marcus's chest. He could feel the intensity of its power, yet he stayed calm. Every move mattered. Every second counted. He darted forward, blades flashing in a coordinated dance, distracting the warrior while edging closer to the child's cage. The elite alien guard shifted, trying to block him, but Marcus was faster, sharper, and more determined. At last, he reached the cage. His hands moved quickly, unlocking the alien mechanism that held the child. The metal doors slid open with a hiss, and the child stepped out, looking up at Marcus. He knelt slightly, signaling that they needed to move quickly. The elite warrior and its guard were not far behind, and the station itself seemed to pulse with danger as they ran toward the exit. Alarms blared. Red lights flashed, and the station shook violently. Marcus and the child sprinted through narrow corridors, dodging debris and energy blasts. Each step was a risk. Each turn could lead them into a trap. Yet, Marcus felt a strange sense of clarity. The mission that had seemed impossible was slowly becoming possible, one step at a time. Finally, they reached a secondary corridor leading to the outer dock. Marcus paused for a moment, listening. The sounds of pursuit were close, but they had a chance. He glanced at the child, whose gaze met his. There was trust there, a bond forming in the chaos. Marcus realized that this mission was no longer just about orders or survival. It was about protecting someone who mattered in ways he had never expected. Suddenly, a deafening roar shook the corridor. Marcus turned sharply. Ahead, an even larger alien machine blocked their path, its multiple limbs moving with terrifying speed. He gripped his blades tighter, ready to fight again. The child stood behind him, eyes wide but calm, as if understanding that Marcus would not fail. Marcus took a deep breath, centering himself. Every instinct, every training exercise, every past mission flashed through his mind. He knew what he had to do. This was the unexpected turning point, the moment that would define everything that came next. With a roar of his own, he charged forward, 8 blades gleaming in the dim light, ready to face whatever came. The battle was far from over, but Marcus was not afraid. The unexpected had arrived, and with it, a chance to prove himself, not just as a warrior, but as a protector. And in that moment, as the first clash of steel and energy erupted, he understood that nothing would ever be the same again. Marcus barely caught his breath as the massive alien machine loomed before him. Its metallic limbs twisted and flexed with unnatural speed, moving almost like a living predator. Sparks flew from a corridor floor where its claws scraped, and the air buzzed with electricity. Behind him, the child watched silently, wide-eyed but calm. Marcus felt a strange mix of fear and resolve. He had faced countless enemies before, but nothing like this. The alien machine emitted a low, vibrating hum that reverberated through Marcus's chest. It wasn't just a machine. It seemed intelligent, aware, calculating. Every movement it made was precise, as if it anticipated his next step. Marcus realized that brute strength alone would not work. He needed to think, to act faster than the predator in front of him. He shifted his weight, keeping his 8 blades ready. Each one was razor sharp, but Marcus knew they were only effective if he could outsmart this creature. The machine lunged, its claws swiping with lethal speed. Marcus ducked, feeling the wind from the attack brush past his face. Sparks flew where the claws struck the wall behind him. Marcus rolled his feet and glanced at the child. The alien had not harmed him yet, but he knew it was only a matter of time. The child moved slightly, almost imperceptibly, pointing a small hand toward a shadowy side corridor. Marcus understood immediately. The child was giving him directions, subtle but clear. He ran toward the corridor, weaving through falling debris and the machine's attacks. The alien followed, its movements fluid and terrifying. Every step Marcus took, he had to calculate, predicting where the machine would strike next. He realized that the corridors themselves could be his weapon. Narrow spaces, low ceilings, sharp corners, all could be used to slow down or trap the predator. As he ran, he noticed the walls pulsing faintly with alien energy. It was not just decoration. The station seemed alive, connected to the machine somehow. Marcus knew he could use this to his advantage. He leapt over a broken console and threw one of his blades at a nearby energy panel. Sparks erupted, creating a blinding flash. The machine recoiled slightly, giving Marcus a narrow window to move forward. They reached a small chamber where the air felt heavier, charged with energy. Marcus glanced around quickly. The child whispered, barely audible, through the vent. Without hesitation, Marcus lifted a metal grate, revealing a narrow passage. He motioned for the child to follow. The child hesitated for only a moment before slipping inside, trusting Marcus completely. Marcus followed, squeezing through the tight space. The machine's hum grew fainter behind them, but Marcus knew it was not defeated, only delayed. He had no idea what else awaited them on the other side. The vent twisted and turned, taking them deeper into the alien station. Strange symbols glowed faintly on the walls, casting eerie light. Marcus tried to decipher them as he moved, realizing they might indicate traps or hidden dangers. Finally, they emerged into a larger chamber, open and dimly lit. The child ran toward the center, where a small device floated above a pedestal, emitting a soft blue light. Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. The device seemed alive, responding to the child's presence. He realized then that the child was not just intelligent. It was connected to the technology in ways he couldn't yet understand. Before he could react, the chamber doors slammed shut. Aliens poured in from hidden panels, surrounding them. They were smaller than the previous machine, but moved with deadly precision. Marcus spun, using his blades to deflect attacks, striking with calculated efficiency. Sparks flew as metal clashed, and the air filled with the sounds of battle. Despite the chaos, Marcus noticed something strange. The aliens did not attack the child. Instead, they focused entirely on him. It was as if the child's presence altered their behavior, commanding their attention in some unspoken way. Marcus realized that protecting the child was not just a mission, it was the key to survival. He fought with skill, using every trick he knew. He slashed, dodged, and parried, moving faster than the aliens anticipated. Yet, for every alien he knocked back, two more seemed to appear. The room became a blur of movement, and Marcus had to rely on instinct as much as skill. Suddenly, a shadow fell over him. Marcus looked up to see a massive alien warrior, its eyes glowing red. Its armor was unlike anything he had seen. Organic, almost alive, pulsating with energy. The smaller aliens backed away, leaving the giant alone with him. Marcus tightened his grip on his blades, knowing that this was a true test. The warrior advanced slowly, each step deliberate. Marcus circled, trying to find an opening. The child remained calm in the center of the room, watching silently. Marcus realized that any mistake now could end everything. He had to think, act, and fight simultaneously. The warrior lunged, faster than Marcus expected. He barely rolled out of the way, his blade slicing the edge of the alien's armor. Sparks flew, illuminating the chamber in brief flashes. Marcus countered with a series of precise strikes, targeting weak points in the armor. Each hit drew a hiss of energy from the alien, but it did not falter. Marcus realized that this enemy was not just strong, it was smart. It anticipated his moves, learning from each attack. He needed a new strategy. He backed toward the floating device, noticing that its light flickered when the warrior approached. An idea formed. He grabbed a spare blade and hurled it at the device. The blade struck perfectly, releasing a burst of energy. The chamber shook violently as the warrior staggered. Marcus didn't wait. He dashed forward, grabbing the child's hand. Together, they ran toward a hidden passage that opened in the corner. The warrior roared, its red eyes blazing, but Marcus did not stop. He pushed forward, adrenaline surging through every vein. The passage led them to a narrow bridge suspended over a pit of glowing energy. The child held Marcus's hand tightly, guiding him across. Marcus realized that the child was more than a passenger. It was helping him navigate, giving subtle cues to avoid danger. They moved carefully, step by step, until they reached the other side. As they landed safely, Marcus looked back. The warrior had not followed. They had delayed it, but it would not give up easily. He knew this was only the beginning. Somewhere deeper in the station, more dangers awaited. But for now, they had a moment of safety. The child whispered something in a language Marcus didn't understand, pointing to a hidden door. He nodded, trusting the small being completely. Together, they approached the door, knowing that beyond it lay the next stage of their journey. Marcus felt a strange bond forming with the child. It was not just mission and duty anymore. It was trust, understanding, and perhaps something deeper he could not name. Just as they reached the door, alarms blared throughout the station. Red lights flashed, casting everything in a terrifying glow. Marcus realized the aliens would not stop. They would come to the child for him, for the mission. He tightened his grip on his blades, ready for the next fight, ready for whatever the station threw at them. In that moment, Marcus understood something crucial. This mission was no longer about orders or survival alone. It was about protecting someone extraordinary, someone who could change everything. And the unexpected encounter with the alien child had shifted the balance. What he thought was a simple rescue had become a fight for something much larger, something far beyond what he had imagined. As Marcus and the child prepared to move deeper into the alien station, a shadow passed across the ceiling. He looked up and froze. Above them, a massive alien craft hovered, watching, waiting. Marcus knew then that the true challenge was only beginning, and the next step would test every skill, every instinct, and every ounce of courage he possessed. The alien station trembled as Marcus and the child navigated deeper into its twisting corridors. Every step felt heavier than the last. The massive warrior they had seen earlier was gone, but Marcus knew it was only a matter of time before it returned. And not alone. Somewhere in the shadows, the station's elite defenders were watching, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Marcus adjusted the 8 blades strapped to his back. Each one was more than a weapon. It was a tool, a lifeline. He knew that in a straight fight, brute force would not win. He had survived countless missions, but this was unlike anything before. The alien warriors were not just strong. They were cunning, calculating, and relentless. As they entered a large chamber, Marcus paused. The room was vast, its walls lined with glowing alien symbols that pulsed rhythmically. In the center floated a holographic map, projecting the layout of the entire station. Marcus realized immediately this was a control hub. Whoever held this room could control the station, seal doors, and manipulate defenses. It was a perfect place to plan an ambush. He crouched behind a console, scanning the room. The child stood quietly nearby, observing the symbols. Marcus noticed that whenever the child touched a symbol, it reacted, lighting up, shifting, almost alive. The child's abilities were beyond anything Marcus had encountered. It was not just intelligent. It was connected to the station itself. Suddenly, the air grew heavy. Marcus felt it before he saw it. The presence of the elite alien warriors. They emerged from hidden panels in the floor and walls, moving silently, like shadows with purpose. Marcus did not panic. He had learned to trust his instincts. He glanced at the child. A subtle nod from the small being told him they needed to act fast. The first warrior lunged. Marcus spun. Blades flashing in precise arc sparks erupted as metal met metal. The warrior was fast, stronger than anything Marcus had faced, but not clever enough to anticipate his every move. He parried, dodged, and countered, striking weak points in the alien's armor. Each movement was calculated, each attack deliberate. Another warrior joined the fight, Marcus's 8 blades moved in perfect harmony with his body. He slashed, deflected, and kicked, keeping both enemies off balance. But the room was vast, and the warriors were many. He realized he could not win by fighting alone. He needed strategy, deception, and the child's help. Marcus signaled to the child. The small being understood immediately, touching a floating control panel. The lights in the room flickered, casting shadows that twisted and danced. The warriors hesitated, confused by the sudden changes in the environment. Marcus seized the opportunity. He darted forward, striking 2 warriors at once, forcing them back against the walls. The fight became a deadly dance. Marcus moved like a shadow, blades slicing through the air with deadly precision. He used the room itself as a weapon, slamming panels, dropping debris, creating obstacles. Each strike, each maneuver, was designed to confuse, slow down, and disorient the elite warriors. The child watched, calm but focused. Its eyes glowed faintly as it interacted with the station's controls. Marcus realized the child was amplifying his efforts, subtly manipulating the environment to give him an advantage. It was a partnership unlike any he had experienced. Together, they were more than a human and an alien child. They were a unit, synchronized in thought and action. Suddenly, a massive shadow fell across the room. Marcus looked up to see the giant warrior returning, its red eyes blazing with fury. It moved with terrifying speed, each step shaking the floor. Marcus knew that one mistake could be fatal. The smaller warriors fell back, giving the giant space to engage him. Marcus assessed the situation. Fighting the giant head-on was suicide. He needed a plan, a trap. He led the creature toward a narrow corridor, forcing it to slow, to maneuver. The giant was powerful, but not clever enough to anticipate Marcus's tactics. Marcus ducked, rolled, and struck at weak points in the armor. Each hit precise and calculated. Sparks flew, echoing across the chamber. The giant warrior roared, a sound that reverberated through Marcus's chest. But Marcus remained focused. He noticed the floor panels above the creature, energy conduits running across the ceiling. A risky idea formed. Marcus sprinted, jumping onto a panel, using the momentum to strike the giant with a powerful arc of his blades. The strike triggered a short circuit, sending a surge of energy through the warrior's armor. It staggered, giving Marcus a momentary advantage. He did not hesitate. Marcus moved like lightning, weaving through the smaller warriors while keeping an eye on the giant. Each movement was calculated, each decision critical. The child guided him subtly, pointing, indicating dangers, almost as if it knew the outcome before Marcus himself did. But the battle was far from over. The elite warriors adapted, learning from each attack. They coordinated, forming a barrier, trying to corner Marcus. He realized then that brute force would not win this fight. It was a battle of wits as much as blades. He had to outthink them, anticipate their moves, and exploit their weaknesses. Marcus's mind raced. He noticed the alien symbols on the walls reacting to the child's presence. He had an idea, a risky one. He led the child to the center of the room, near the holographic map. The child touched several symbols in sequence, causing the room's environment to shift. Walls moved, lights flickered, and energy fields activated. The elite warriors were momentarily disoriented, trapped in a maze of shifting corridors and barriers. Marcus seized the moment. He struck with precision, using the environment against his enemies. Sparks flew as metal collided with metal, and the air hummed with energy. The giant warrior roared in frustration, but Marcus was already moving, agile and unpredictable. Every blade strike, every dodge, was designed to maximize confusion and minimize risk. The child moved calmly, manipulating controls, creating openings, and signaling Marcus when it was safe to advance. Marcus realized that this partnership was their greatest strength. Alone, he might have been defeated, but together, human and child, they were unstoppable. Finally, after what felt like hours but was only minutes, the elite warriors faltered. The giant warrior staggered. The smaller ones hesitated, and Marcus knew the moment had come. He surged forward, blades flashing, striking with precision, and forcing the remaining enemies back into the shadows. The room fell silent, save for the hum of energy and Marcus's heavy breathing. Marcus turned to the child. The small being looked up at him, eyes glowing faintly, calm and composed despite the chaos around them. Marcus realized then that the child was not just a passenger, not just someone to protect. It was a guide, a partner, and perhaps the key to everything that lay ahead. But the victory was temporary. Marcus knew that deeper in the station, more dangers awaited. The elite warriors were not the end. They were the beginning of a much larger challenge. And the unexpected alliance with the alien child had changed everything. As Marcus and the child moved toward the next corridor, a distant roar echoed through the station. It was not the giant warrior. It was something far greater, far more terrifying. Marcus's heart raced, but he tightened his grip on his blades. He knew that the true test was coming, a battle that would challenge every skill, every instinct, and every ounce of courage he possessed. This was the battle of wits and blades, and Marcus understood that survival depended not just on strength, but on intelligence, trust, and the ability to think faster than any opponent. The unexpected turning point had led them here, and what lay ahead would define not just their mission, but the fate of the entire station. And perhaps much more, Marcus and the child moved cautiously to the alien station, their steps echoing in the dimly lit corridors. The previous battle had drained Marcus, but he knew rest was a luxury he could not afford. The station seemed alive, breathing around them, its walls pulsing faintly with energy. Every shadow felt like a trap, every sound a warning. The child walked confidently beside him, their small hand gripping his, guiding him silently. Marcus had come to rely on the child's instincts. It was remarkable how calm it remained after the chaos they had endured. Its eyes glowed faintly, scanning the walls and symbols, as if communicating with the station itself. Marcus felt a mixture of awe and unease. This child was extraordinary, and he was beginning to understand that its abilities were the reason they had survived so far. As they turned a corner, Marcus froze. The corridor opened into a large chamber unlike anything he had seen before. The walls were sleek, black, and metallic, lined with strange alien devices that hummed softly. At the center, a platform hovered above the ground, illuminated by an eerie green light. The child's gaze was fixed on it, almost entranced. Marcus's instincts screamed danger. He crouched low, scanning the area. The chamber was silent, but he sensed movement, subtle, deliberate, watching. And then he realized the truth. The entire chamber was a trap. Hidden panels lined the walls and floor. Sensors blinked intermittently. And the floating platform seemed to be the focus of it all. He could feel the weight of hundreds of eyes observing them. Suddenly, a deep voice resonated through the chamber, mechanical yet organic, commanding and cold. "Human, you've come far, but your journey ends here." Marcus's muscles tensed. He could not see the speaker, yet the presence was undeniable. The voice carried authority, strength, and a sense of something ancient, something far beyond any alien warriors he had faced before. Before he could respond, shadows shifted along the walls. Panels slid open, revealing elite alien soldiers, each more heavily armored than the ones he had fought before. Marcus realized this was not a random encounter. They had been expected. Every step he had taken had been anticipated. Every move predicted. The child moved slightly forward, hand extended toward a floating console. Marcus grabbed its small hand, urging caution. But the child's touch caused the devices around the chamber to react. Lights flickered, energy fields shifted, and several of the elite warriors froze, confused by the sudden change. Marcus knew they had a small window. He surged forward, his 8 blades flashing in a deadly arc. Sparks erupted as metal clashed, and the sound of energy weapons filled the chamber. The elite soldiers moved quickly, but Marcus used the shifting environment to his advantage, striking, dodging, and weaving through their ranks. Despite his skill, Marcus knew the elite warriors were not the ultimate threat. Something else was controlling this encounter, something unseen. His mind raced. He needed to anticipate the hidden force, to predict what it wanted, and to act before it acted against them. Suddenly, the platform at the center of the room descended with a hiss. On it stood a figure shrouded in darkness, its armor unlike anything Marcus had seen. Its eyes glowed a brilliant green, matching the lighted platform. Marcus could feel its power, the raw strength radiating from the figure. It was neither human nor typical alien. It was something in between, a fusion of technology and biology, perfected for combat and control. The figure spoke again, its voice echoing in the chamber. You have done well to come this far, human. But now, you'll face your true test. Marcus tightened his grip on his blades, preparing for the inevitable confrontation. The child remained calm, moving closer to platform. Marcus realizing that the child was not just a passenger. They were part of this test. The station, the elite warriors, even this mysterious figure, were all tied to the child's existence. The figure moved with impossible speed, leaping from the platform and landing in front of Marcus. Sparks flew where its boots struck the ground. It attacked with precision, striking faster than Marcus could anticipate. He parried, rolled, and countered, but every blow was met with equal force. The chamber itself seemed to react to battle, walls shifting, panels activating, energy fields pulsing. Marcus realized he needed more than strength. He needed strategy, ingenuity, and an understanding of the hidden threat. He glanced at the child. The small being pointed toward a cluster of devices on the wall. Marcus understood immediately. The devices were part of the station's control system. If he could manipulate them, he could level the playing field. He moved quickly, weaving through the figure's attacks and using the environment to shield himself. He reached the devices and activated a sequence he had observed earlier. The lights in the chamber flickered wildly. Energy fields shifted, and the figure stumbled, caught off guard by the sudden change. The elite warriors hesitated, momentarily distracted. Marcus seized the opportunity, striking with precision, forcing several back into defensive positions. Sparks erupted as metal clashed, and the chamber echoed with the sounds of battle. But the figure was relentless. It adapted quickly, countering Marcus's attacks and anticipating his moves. Every strike, every parry, was met with calculated response. Marcus realized then that the figure was learning from him, evolving with every engagement. He needed a new approach, something unpredictable, something the figure could not anticipate. The child moved to his side, touching a control panel with deliberate precision. The room responded immediately. Hidden doors slammed shut, energy barriers rose, and the elite warriors were forced into containment fields. Marcus now had a chance to focus entirely on the figure. He circled, studying its movements, searching for a weakness. Every motion of the figure was deliberate, efficient, and deadly. Marcus knew he had only one opportunity. With a sudden burst of speed, he darted forward, blades flashing, striking at a weak point he had noticed in the armor near the shoulder joint. Sparks flew, and the figure stumbled slightly. A minor victory, but enough to buy time. Marcus pressed the advantage, using the shifting environment to confuse and disorient the figure. He leapt onto a raised platform, swinging his blades in a precise arc, forcing the figure back. The child assisted, manipulating controls to create new obstacles, energy barriers, and traps. Together, they were a coordinated force, human and child working as one. The figure roared in frustration, its green eyes blazing. Marcus realized that brute force would not win this battle. The hidden threat was more than just strength and skill. It required intelligence, adaptability, and the ability to predict its opponent. Marcus had all of these qualities, but he needed to combine them perfectly with the child's abilities to survive. Finally, after a tense and grueling struggle, the figure paused, reassessing Marcus. The room was in chaos. Panels sparking, energy fields flickering, elite warriors contained. Marcus stood, blades ready, breathing heavily but focused. The child moved beside him, calm and unwavering. Marcus realized then that the hidden threat was not just a figure or the elite warriors. It was the station itself, the entire environment, all testing him. This mission had evolved far beyond a simple rescue. It was a challenge of wit, skill, and partnership. And the child was the key, guiding him, supporting him, and teaching him in ways words could not express. As Marcus and the child prepared to move forward, a distant vibration ran through the station. The figure did not pursue immediately, but its presence lingered, a silent reminder of the danger still ahead. Marcus tightened his grip on his blades, knowing that the next stage would be even more perilous. The hidden threat had revealed itself, but only partially. The full danger was yet to come. Marcus understood that survival depended not just on skill or strength, but on trust, intelligence, and the bond he was forming with the child. Together, they would face the unknown, the unseen, and the unimaginable. And somewhere within the alien station, the true challenge awaited. Something that could change everything, not just for Marcus, but for the entire galaxy. Marcus and the child moved cautiously through the twisting corridors of the alien station. The hidden threat had not pursued them immediately, but Marcus knew better than to trust silence. Every shadow, every pulse of light, seemed alive, as if the station itself were watching. The child walked beside him, calm and deliberate, its small hand gripping his. Marcus felt a strange sense of trust, an instinct telling him that together, they could survive what came next. The corridors opened into a vast chamber, larger than any they had seen before. At its center stood a figure, towering and imposing, surrounded by elite alien warriors. Marcus instinctively raised his blades, ready to fight, but something about the scene froze him. The figure's green eyes glowed, not with anger, but with recognition. The alien warriors, previously hostile, now watched silently, their weapons lowered. Marcus realized something astonishing. This was not a battle. It was an assessment. Every enemy they had faced, every trap, every challenge in the station had led to this moment. And the figure at the center, the one he had thought was the ultimate threat, was not their enemy. The figure stepped forward. Its voice, both mechanical and organic, resonated through the chamber. Human, you have proven your skill, your courage, and your wisdom. You have faced what others could not. But the true test is not of strength, it is of choice. Marcus gripped his blades tightly, unsure what the figure meant. The child stepped closer, its small hand pointing toward a floating holographic display. Marcus looked at it and realized it projected multiple star systems, alien fleets, and colonies. He understood immediately. The child was showing him the stakes. This mission was far greater than a single rescue. It could determine the fate of entire worlds. The figure spoke again. The child you protect is not ordinary. Its knowledge and connection to the station make it crucial for the survival of many. We tested you to see if you were worthy, not as a warrior, but as an ally. Marcus felt a chill. The reality of the situation sank in. All the battles, all the dangers, had been orchestrated not just to challenge him, but to measure his judgment, his courage, and his capacity to form trust. He looked at the child, whose eyes met his with unwavering confidence. He realized then that the bond they had formed was more than instinct. It was destiny. The elite warriors shifted slightly, stepping aside to form a path. The towering figure gestured toward a secure docking bay visible at the far end of the chamber. You and the child must leave. But the station is not the only threat. Forces beyond this sector will come seeking what you now possess. Alliance is your only option. Marcus's mind raced. For months, humans have been wary of alien alliances, often finding them untrustworthy. Yet, here he was, faced with a decision that could not rely on suspicion alone. He had to trust not only the figure, but the entire contingent of elite warriors. Hesitation could cost him everything. He nodded slowly. I will protect the child, he said, and I will do what is necessary to survive. The figure inclined its head. Then we moved together. But understand, trust is not given lightly. It must be earned, maintained, and defended. Marcus took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility settle over him. The child squeezed his hand slightly, a silent reassurance. They were ready. Together, they would face whatever came next. The journey to the docking bay was tense. Elite warriors flanked them, moving with silent precision. Marcus remained vigilant, scanning for hidden traps or ambushes. The child occasionally touched panels or devices along the corridor, subtly manipulating the station systems. Marcus realized again how extraordinary this being was. It was not just a passive passenger. It was active in the survival of both of them, guiding, protecting, and instructing in ways that words could not describe. As they neared the docking bay, alarms blared. Marcus's heart raced. Outside the viewports, a fleet of alien ships emerged, their hulls dark and menacing, weapons charging with deadly energy. He had anticipated resistance, but this scale was beyond anything he had imagined. The figure spoke, its voice calm and authoritative. You must lead. Human. Your instincts, your courage, your bond with the child. These are the keys to survival. The fleet will test you, but you are not alone. Marcus tightened his grip on his blades. The child's small hand touched his shoulder, grounding him, steadying him. He realized that leadership was not about fearlessness. It was about making calculated choices, guiding those who depended on you, and trusting in allies, even when the odds seemed impossible. The fleet opened fire. Marcus dodged the first wave of energy blasts, vaulting over a barrier and rolling behind cover. The elite warriors moved with him, coordinated and precise. The child activated the docking bay's defenses, deploying energy shields and automated turrets. Sparks flew, explosions rocked the bay, and the air hummed with energy. Marcus felt alive, every nerve on edge, every instinct sharpened. Amid the chaos, a massive alien commander emerged from one of the ships, directing attacks with brutal efficiency. Marcus knew this was the true test, the final adversary. He dashed forward, blades flashing, intercepting soldiers before they could reach the docking bay. The child moved beside him, guiding his path, anticipating threats before they appeared. Marcus realized that brute force alone would not win this confrontation. He needed strategy, cunning, and the ability to adapt instantly. He led the child and the elite warriors through narrow corridors and cover points, using the station systems to create confusion among the enemy fleet. Sensors misled attackers, energy barriers redirected fire, and automated defenses neutralized the most dangerous assaults. The alien commander's frustration grew evident. Marcus pressed the advantage, coordinating with the child's subtle manipulations of the station. Together, they became an unstoppable force. Marcus marveled at the synergy, the human and the child, working with alien warriors, orchestrating defense and offense with precision. Finally, they reached the central launch platform. The escape craft awaited, engines humming, ready to depart. Marcus and the child boarded quickly, the elite warriors providing cover. The alien fleet continued their assault, but Marcus was not afraid. He had learned, adapted, and trusted, not just in his own skill, but in the alliance that had formed around him. The craft lifted, dodging energy blasts as the station's defenses engaged the pursuing ships. Marcus piloted with precision, the child guiding subtle maneuvers, ensuring safe passage. The elite warriors remained vigilant, ready to defend at a moment's notice. The station receded behind them, a complex web of danger, strategy, and hidden threats that they had survived together. As the craft entered open space, Marcus allowed himself a moment to breathe. The child looked at him, eyes glowing faintly, a silent affirmation of their bond. Marcus realized then that this mission had changed him. It was not just about survival or rescue. It was about understanding, trust, and the unexpected alliances that could emerge in the face of unimaginable danger. The figure they had encountered in the station's heart communicated one final message. You have proven worthy. The alliance begins. But remember, the galaxy is vast, and challenges will continue. Protect the child, trust your instincts, and lead wisely. Marcus nodded, understanding the gravity of their journey ahead. The child remained close, a quiet yet powerful presence. Together, they had faced elite warriors, massive threats, and hidden dangers. They had survived through courage, intelligence, and trust. And now, as the stars stretched before them, the true adventure, one of discovery, alliance, and protection of being unlike any other, was only beginning. As the escape craft disappeared into the darkness of space, Marcus felt a strange calm. The unexpected alliance had formed, the bond between human and child had solidified, and the future, though uncertain, was theirs to face. And somewhere in the depths of the galaxy, forces beyond imagination would soon learn that this human, guided by courage and aided by the extraordinary child, was not one to underestimate. The story was far from over. But for now, Marcus knew this. Together, they were unstoppable.